Let me take the opportunity to welcome all of you here at Kampala Serena Hotel at the 2017 Economic Forum, assessing the impact of disruptive innovations on growth and development in Africa and in our countries. I think it's a very relevant topic for this moment in time.
When we talk about innovation, we talk about trends and opportunities. I'm sure we all know how disruptive most of the trends have been, but how are they impacting our economy?
The way that technology is sold to us today is that it allows us to be borderless, truly.
The most important thing is how advancement in technology empowers us, how it enables government and citizens to interact, how it promotes access to basic goods and services for the citizens, how it comes to the rescue of those trapped in complex humanitarian emergencies, and how businesses can harness the emancipatory potential of technology through customer engagement, stakeholder collaborations, and how it builds and strengthens social relationships and communities.
It is in building these ideas and strengthening them that the next big ideas will not have to suffer, because we've done the work in laying the foundation for innovation.
Who presents this technology or this disruption important? I mean, is identity important to solutions?
Identity is very, very important to the innovations that we are making. The solutions that we come up with are based on our identities and the limitations of that. Solutions like Uber, whatever it is, do not speak to the average person who needs to transport. I mean, we are dependent on agriculture. Let's also invest in the identity, because we've already said that it's very important to the things that we want to do.
Starting things or having idea or thinking about ideas is not enough if these ideas are not actually actualized. And what does it take to actualize an idea?
What I would suggest is, if you have an idea that that you think is really compelling, I would seek out a partner. I would seek out a partner that provides a service that has a history, and work out an arrangement where you can sort of submit a bid under that umbrella so that you're covered. You have a history, you have a corporate behind you, and in the back you can have a side agreement where you have a profit share or something, so that way your innovation goes through.
And start with what you have. Don't fear these huge companies that are already working and they are doing well. You can do better than them. You can disrupt them. You don't need a lot of money to do these things. What you need is discipline, is to be passionate, and to know your goals and where you need to focus.
It's hard. Things go wrong. People steal money, something breaks, and it's tempting to quit. But if you're stubborn, you'll find a way, as long as you're willing to learn. Understand your own business, understand the economics at every level. How much is the customer paying? Where are they getting that money from? How much of what the customer pays you do you need to reinvest? How much of it do you use to pay salaries? So I would say, if you can find something that people genuinely want, you may need less money than you think. To get $10,000 from a bank in Uganda is very difficult, especially as a young person.
So then for young innovators, the question then is, how do you shift the model to be able to find finances out of the traditional structures that exist?
There is a certain amount of risk capital that needs to go into a business to get it to a point where it has demonstrated that it's a conceivable idea, that it could survive in the marketplace. And only then, when it's shown some data and it really has shown some promise, can you then put debt financing in place. I think it's important to understand that concept. You cannot start an innovation or an idea out of your garage with debt. It's unrealistic.
We have very young, innovative, educated young Ugandans that are doing many, many things that can solve so many problems. We have problems with health, with land, with our municipalities, with so many government departments that need to be efficient. These Ugandans have come up with new ways of doing things, and I think government, instead of investing money to bring in foreign IT companies, they can work with these people and without paying them money, and they earn a fee on transaction fees.
Government need to change the way that they look at innovation and bring tech companies on board as partners, as innovation partners. And then, these innovations can happen together in an agile way.
Minister, if you're going to South Korea for some innovation conference, don't take so many people from the ministry. Take people from the hubs to go and create those connections, find mentors, find partners to build these ideas.
We also make a challenge to our government to also start to focus on research and development, and also hopefully trickle down some of those innovations to us.
As we research, we come up with something, and we must ensure that they are protected, people's ideas are protected, and obviously government needs to invest in schools because that's where the foundation is laid for innovation.
What you need to teach young people is a mindset of constant learning throughout their lives. And that involves creativity, problem solving, abstract thinking, critical thinking, challenging opinions, and innovation. These are the things that should be part of our curriculums. And because by the time they go through school, the technology has changed anyways, especially in ICT.
One of the components is to put up a common hub that will ensure networking between government players and ICT players. The Jaffes are privy to this. We are moving out there to even put up funds to support those innovators whose solutions have proved that they are not only for tech labs, but they can survive in the market.
So we've built a destination for the entrepreneurs, but more importantly, after working with about 800 of them last year, we've built the same destination to be one that partners who want to interact with them come to.
So in Naro, we run what we call a competitive grant scheme, in which I can look at commercialization of innovations. And right now we are supporting close to out of 8-9 projects, we are supporting close to actually 21 youth groups.
As the government, therefore, we have a role to play in encouraging innovations, but also protecting both the innovators and consumers.
And my advice to a young innovator is that it is more important to stay the journey. This is not a sprint, it's a marathon. So it's important that you have the first year, second year, and the third year, that you survive the third year.
Citizens and societies that are technologically savvy, scientifically conscious, are able to promote the fundamental tenets of democracy, such as human rights, rule of law, meritocracy, tolerance, equality, and social justice.
So, in summary, my basic argument is that we need to have our biggest resource in Africa, which can make us competitive within the global economy, is young people.
This forum, I think, has been insightful, has been informative, interactive, compared to the others I've attended before. I think the 4th edition has brought together the idea of thinking out of the box.
Was very mind-opening about it. It changed my perspective about Africa and Africans, Ugandans, and what they are able to do. Today I even actually learned that we have a big hub that houses, I think, over 30 innovations, ready to do things for young people, for the community at large to impact change. That's amazing.
This forum was really educational. For everyone that came here must have left learning something. Personally, I believe disruptive innovations can change and be a positive change for our future as Africans.
Exhibited were really amazing. They had amazing ideas. So I want to see lessons or testimonies from this forum exhibit on the next one. So then we know we are creating an impact.